A tragic aviation accident occurred between a Black Hawk helicopter and a commercial flight to DC, resulting in the deaths of over 60 people. At a time when we would usually turn to our foreign leaders to inspire a bit of healing and hope and inspiration during times of tragedy, here's a little sped up version of what our current president, Donald Trump, wanted to talk about to the families who had just experienced the loss of their loved ones.
In office, they put a big push to put diversity into the FAA's program. Then another article, the Federal Aviation Administration, this was before I got to office, recently, second term. The FAA is actively recruiting workers who suffer severe intellectual disabilities, psychiatric problems, and other mental and physical conditions under a diversity and inclusion hiring initiative spelled out.
Are you saying this crash was somehow caused and the result of diversity hiring? And what evidence have you seen to support these claims?
It just could have been. We have a high standard. We've had a much higher standard than anybody else. And there are things where you have to go by brain power, you have to go by psychological quality. And psychological quality is a very important element of it. These are various very powerful tests that we put to use, and they were terminated by Biden.
You are blaming Democrats and DEI policies and air traffic control and seemingly the member of the U.S. military who was flying that Black Hawk helicopter. Don't you think you're getting ahead of the investigation right now?
No, I don't think so at all. I don't think
made the mistake.
It's all under investigation.
I understand that. That's why I'm trying to figure out how you can come to the conclusion right now that diversity had something to do with this crash.
Because I have common sense, okay? And unfortunately, a lot of people don't.
We are still pulling bodies out of the water. An investigation had just begun on the incident, and Trump's first move is to throw around racist conspiracy theories about workers whose identities we don't even know, and to sow more division in this country. We're still finding out the names of these victims, and Donald Trump, our president, is going around saying, oh, it's the Dems' fault. I mean, it's a DEI thing. It could have been because we hired someone in a wheelchair, or maybe it was because we hired a gay person or a black person. Just common sense. That's like the most annoying part about it all. When asked, how are you going to come out and say this while we're still finding out the victims' names, while families are still mourning? How are you going to try to politicize this event? And he goes, just common sense. I legitimately think that Trump is using this tragedy as a way to see how far and how dumb he can push his base, like how blind they're willing to follow his words, given what they see in front of them. If Donald Trump can successfully convince his base and the rest of his GOP cronies to make this tragic airline crash about a partisan DEI conversation, make this a racist conversation, then if you thought we were cooked before, we are on fire right now.